Welcome back, this is part 4 of What Happened to the Alien and Predator series. Let me ask you an obscure question. What would happen if you were to take the characters out of a typical action movie and place them in a horror movie? For example, who would win a fight between Rambo and Jason Voorhees? What if you got John McClane to duke it out with Pinhead? What would happen if you got James Bond to trade blows with the Wolfman? Sounds crazy, yet at the same time, incredibly awesome. Well, this is the question posed by the 1987 film Predator, directed by John McTiernan. That's right, the director of Die Hard, The Hunt for the Red October, and Die Hard with a Vengeance. Predator takes place in a typical 80s action movie scenario, much the likes of Rambo 2, Commando, or Missing in Action. A group of US Special Forces soldiers are sent on a rescue mission deep into the exotic jungles of Valvadre, where they are pitted against hordes of cannon-fodder minions. They kick ass, blow shit up, pose in macho poses, spout corny one-liners,
stick around,
and save the day without gaining a single scratch. Everything goes by the numbers, following all the typical action movie conventions, lulling you into a false sense of security. Then suddenly, without warning, an alien monster appears, and the film abruptly switches its genre to horror. Now all of a sudden, all the one-liners in the world aren't enough to save our action stars from being picked off one at a time. It's a brilliant twist that catches you completely off guard. Predator is the quintessential 80s action film. It was made back in the day when men were men, and violence, gore, and political incorrectness were staple holds of the genre. It was made before bullshit computer-generated effects took over the genre, so action films were forced to fall back on amazing stunts and high-octane action instead. It was made back when it wasn't considered amoral to indiscriminately kill hordes of bad guys using amazingly big guns.
payback time.
In fact, it would have probably been considered offensive if you didn't. Everything about this movie kicks ass. The action is filled to the brim with death-defying stunts, incredible fight scenes, amazing guns, and fantastic special effects. The cinematography is fluid, the editing is fantastic, the pacing is tight and upbeat, the production design is spot on, and the music is kick-ass. Yeah, this is raw action at its finest. But you know, action isn't the only thing that makes a good movie. A film really is only as good as its characters, and Predator doesn't fail to deliver on this front either. The characters are especially memorable. They are all very charismatic and likable, each bringing their own unique elements to the story. They all have unique personalities, weapons, and appearances, and they have some of the best quotes in cinema history.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I ain't got time to bleed.
Anytime. Get to the chopper!
There's something out there waiting for us. And it ain't no man.
The other day, I was going down to my girlfriend. I said to her, "Jeez, you got a big pussy. Jeez, you got a big pussy." She said, "Why did you say that twice?" And I said, "I didn't." See, it's because of the echo.
Also, the film probably has the manliest action movie cast I've ever seen. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dutch, Jesse Ventura as Blaine, Carl Weathers as Dylan, Bill Duke as Mac, Sonny Latham as Billy, Richard Chavez as Poncho, and Lethal Weapon writer Shane Black as Hawkins. There's so much manliness in this movie you risk getting impregnated just from watching it, even if you're male. The good thing is, Arnold doesn't hog the spotlight, rather the movie is about a team of people. I guess much the likes of The Wild Bunch or The Magnificent Seven. Know something else amazing about the cast? Arnold Schwarzenegger would go on to become governor of California. Jesse Ventura would go on to become governor of Minnesota. And Sonny Landham ran for governor of Kentucky. That's right, this movie turned its cast into future governors. I'm willing to bet that in a few years we're going to see a Predator run for governor. The other major character in the film is the Predator itself, who really is an interesting villain. The Predator is an alien monster that comes to Earth, but its motive isn't to take over the world, or to eat people, or anything else along those lines. Rather, the Predator is a poacher, and it has come to Earth in search of worthy prey in order to hunt for trophies. He's on safari, and much like the famous novel The Most Dangerous Game, it is man who is the most challenging prey of all. As such, the Predator only hunts people who pose a significant challenge, It refuses to kill the unarmed or otherwise unthreatening. It can mimic people's voices like some kind of duck call to trick people into coming closer. After it makes a kill, it then proceeds to either skin its prey and hang him upside down, or take their skull and spine as a trophy. The idea that there is an unstoppable monster chasing you down, but its only motive is that it thinks killing you is fun, is truly terrifying. In addition, the Predator probably has the best reveal I've ever seen in film. First, we only hear some sounds made by the Predator, followed by some quick point-of-view shots through its infrared vision. It's only about halfway through the film that we manage to catch some quick glimpses of it before finally seeing it in full. But what's this? It's cloaked invisible, so we haven't actually seen it yet. It's only nearing the end of the film that we get to see some glimpses of it uncloaked, before finally seeing it full and visible. But what's this? It's still got its mask on. So it's only right at the end of the film that we finally get a chance to see the Predator in full, uncloaked, and with its mask on. Was it worth the wait? Hell yes.
You're one ugly motherfucker.
Look at this thing. It's fucking amazing. The effects were done by Stan Winston, the special effects god who did the effects for all the Jurassic Park movies, all the Terminator movies, Iron Man, Edward Scissorhands, and yes, even Aliens. I can't help but feel there is but another Vietnam War analogy running through this film. Just like Vietnam, we have a group of US soldiers who are sent to a foreign country to fight a war in a treacherous jungle against guerrillas. Despite being the best of the best, the US soldiers are defeated by an unseen enemy who fights using hit-and-run tactics. And in fact, Richard Chavez, who plays Poncho, is actually a Vietnam veteran. Jesse Ventura, who plays Blaine, served as a Navy SEAL during Vietnam. Another clever notion that runs through the film is the idea that it is actually man who is the most dangerous predator of all. In order to defeat the Predator, our hero Dutch has to actually become a predator. The Predator kills Dutch's team by hiding in trees, using hit-and-run tactics, and by rendering itself invisible, using a cloaking device that malfunctions when exposed to water. Dutch only manages to defeat the Predator when he as well begins to hide in trees, use similar fighting tactics, and cover himself with mud to render himself invisible to the Predator's heat vision, which is washed off from him when he falls in water. As Dutch stands victoriously over the Predator, they share this exchange.
What the hell are you?
This highlights the idea that it is in fact Dutch who is the real Predator here. In fact, if you think about it, you could almost argue that Dutch is actually more of a villain than the Predator is. Sure, the Predator may have killed about 12 people over the course of the film, but Dutch on the other hand probably rakes in about 30. And at least the Predator wasn't killing its own species. Man, that's some heavy deconstruction of the action hero archetype. You don't see that kind of depth in your average action film. Now, I admit it, Predator isn't perfect. It's no Citizen Kane. There are some minor flaws. You can see the blank adapters in their guns, for instance, which always irked me. The fact that you can see the Predator ship land on the Earth in the first shot of the movie ruins any possible mystery of its origins, which could have been better revealed later in the film. But these are just minor nitpicks. Predator is a kick-ass roller coaster of a film from start to finish. I can't help but think that if they had have just ended the series here, it might have been for the better. We would have had 2 great Alien films and 1 great standalone Predator film. But you can't keep a money-hungry studio down, and it all goes downhill from here. Tune in next week and we see the gradual decline of the series beginning. We're going to look at Predator 2.
Shit happens.